The headphones. Are they attached to her head? Find out this week on Just Left Therapy. Once again, I'm coming at you on a lie, riding on the tails of a lie. I didn't just leave therapy. I left therapy about 50 minutes ago. No, 45. We went a little over. Janice is very good about not being strict about time, which, I don't know. Is that a boundary thing? I'll have to bring it up with my therapist. LOL. Third cup of coffee, second glass of water. The ratio is off today, ladies and gentlemen. So you might be thinking, Tiffany, where are you? I'm cat sitting. I also am tired today, and it's fall. So I decided to make this a cozy little episode and use the handheld mic because I want to sit on this boomer couch. And I say that with love and admiration. This is sort of a micro suede. It's not quite micro suede, but there's a matching love seat right there. Then there's this couch. Anyway, they're recliners and they're motorized, which is fun. Fun for me at night when I'm watching my programs, when I'm watching my YouTubes. Do you know I got into YouTube at this very house? So I have been cat sitting for this family for like over 2 years now. And I logged into YouTube once to do something, and I ended up just spending every evening here watching music videos on YouTube, and they would autoplay. And it was such a comfort for me. And eventually that spooled into the algorithm that I have today, which is mostly slow TV. Do you all watch the Azerbaijani woman making bread? Making everything with just the strongest hands I've ever seen. She makes bread. She makes various cakes. She cleaves a lot of meat. I will look away for those parts because I'm a vegetarian. But she lives on the most gorgeous farm with her husband and I believe her son, who makes the YouTube videos. It's in the Shahdag pronunciation ? Mountains of Azerbaijan. It's just one of the most stunning landscapes I've ever seen. And they live on this beautiful property with this beautiful outdoor kitchen, and there are animals all over the place. They have a couple little crow friends that come and visit, and the crow is always just like, hey, 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 and just causing trouble. That little crow just causing trouble. That's what I watch. I believe the name of that channel is Country Vlog Life. They actually have a few different channels, but start there. I love Celia Bromdahl, I believe is her name. She and her partner Christopher live in Svalbard, which is an island close to the North Pole. And they live in a beautiful little home right on the shore of this island country. It's just little glimpses into their day-to-day life with their dog Grim, who's this big fluff of some sort of snow dog. And it makes me want to go live on a remote island near the North Pole. Some days, that kind of sounds like just what the doctor ordered. Although on Svalbard, it is required that you carry a rifle. Like, it's a law because of polar bears. So I don't know if I could do that. I think she's never had to use the rifle, but you're supposed to just have one. I don't feel well today. I have forgotten to take my Flonase the last couple days. I'm a wreck, Mother. Oh, Mother, Mother, Mother. Oh, Mother, 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 Mother. What was your favorite season of White Lotus? Mine might have been the second season from which that line came, right? Or was that the first season? We did get the famous "These Gays, They're Trying to Kill Me," though, from season 2. So Jennifer Coolidge, global treasure. I'm not even going to say national treasure. I'm going to go out on a limb and say global treasure. Universal treasure? Cosmic treasure? How far out can we zoom? When was the last time you were on a Zoom? Maybe one of these days we're going to go, remember Zoom? One of these days we're going to say, remember YouTube? The way we say, R.I.P. Vine. Speaking of, okay, God, I have a lot to talk about.
But first, coffee.
My mom sent me a Sora video. She didn't know it was a Sora video. How could she? It was of a cat and a dog and a woman. And there was some food spilled on the floor, and the dog was looking really guilty. And the cat was going, meow, 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 pointing at the dog. And the woman was going, I know it was you. You've got chicken all over your paws. It was really cute. And I watched it and I said, well, that looks a little too perfect. That's a little too good to be true. And then I noticed the Sora watermark. And I said, Mom, I just need to let you know that this is AI. And she goes, oh, good to know. So pretty much anything funny is fake, which is a dark thought. My brother also sent me another Sora video and then quickly said to himself, oh, I think that's AI. I understand that Sora is pretty new, so if you're not noticing the Sora watermark, which everyone just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out for the Sora watermark, just so you know that what you're watching is not an actual raccoon riding on a bear's back, getting startled by a Halloween decoration and then running and flinging itself into a car and setting the car alarm off. That's not real. Now, the video of Jesus at the swim meet, that's pretty funny. Which my brother also sent me, which is another Sora video. Here's the thing. I am generally against AI because of the environmental implications. I'm not an expert on it. I obviously should be doing more research, and I will continue to do so. But from what we know, making these little videos is using up a lot of resources that are finite as of now. Now, I think a video that is at the moment made with AI that is clearly fake, like Jesus at a swim meet running on water, okay, sure. That's pretty funny. I can get behind that. It's the bunnies on the trampoline, which, did I fall for it? Yeah, we all fell for the bunnies on the trampoline. It's that really disheartens me, because the reason that we were so enchanted by that video is because we thought it was real. And I feel like AI is stripping us of that wonder for the incredible ways that humans and flora and fauna can act on this planet. Simone Biles is incredible to watch because she's a real human being. It's a really weird, Wild West, terrifying time, which is one reason why I have felt myself wanting to recommit to being a theater artist. It kind of feels like the one thing that AI can't really come for at this moment. My foot may be in my mouth very soon. This past weekend, I went to a gala for Hudson Valley Shakespeare, and an award was given to Craig Lucas, the playwright, and he gave the most incredible speech about this. I think I need to reach out to the artistic director and be like, can I actually have a copy of that speech, or could you post it somewhere? And it was basically about this, about how there is no algorithm in theater. Another thing I really am beginning to very much appreciate about theater and the making of theater is that it cannot be optimized. It takes as long as it takes. You can't put it on 2 times speed when you're watching it or when you're creating it. It takes as long as it takes to rehearse a play and get it on its feet. I was watching a YouTube video last night about late stage social media and social media addiction, and there was a clip from something. I wish I could cite it here, but maybe I'll try and find it, and I'll find the original source and I'll put it in the description. But a woman was talking about how our lives have become completely frictionless in so many ways. And this actually made me start crying because everything has become so easeful and instant. I mean, we live like kings. My boyfriend and I talk about this all the time. We live like kings. Even those of us who have a very modest life, I can still press a button and have a car come to me in minutes. But it's this frictionless existence that creates numbness within us and strips our daily lives of wonder, and it keeps our brains from developing new neural pathways as well, which challenge creates that. I'm really speaking in a roundabout way now, but Sora is sort of the visual digital version of a frictionless internet. And I hope it eventually all just evolves into the slop pile that's over there that then eats itself, that the Ouroboros of AI just eventually devours itself off in a weird landfill corner of the internet, and then the humans can continue developing and creating and delighting each other over here is kind of what I'm hoping for. Okay, speaking of all that, Y'all ever heard of the chicken stars meme?
Slipping slides, fart noises, chicken stars.
Chicken stars is a niche meme that apparently is over, even though it just started a week ago. I did read one comment that said, Chicken stars was over the second it dropped, which kind of reminds me of the philosophy around the vaporwave genre of music and art, that once people figured out it was a genre, it basically was dead, because that was the whole point of the genre, was that it was supposed to be extremely underground, and like one, and then especially once there was a name for it, it didn't exist. It shouldn't exist anymore. Fascinating. So anyway, that's what Chicken Stars is. It's taken from the opening number of the movie Leo on Netflix that I was in and I did a lot of music for. And I actually was a co-writer on this particular song. And there's a line in the song where Cole number one sings about slip and slides, dippin' dots, and chicken stars with a cracking prepubescent voice. And for some reason, the Jenna office took this and ran. All I can hope for is that people stream the song and then I can get some royalties, because I'm not getting anything directly from people putting this song into Sora and creating weird meme edits of this where Cole goes insane and his eyes turn into fire and then he blasts off into space.
67, 67, 67, chicken star, 67!
Referencing the 6'7" meme. I have never sounded older than I do now. Ow, I hurt my neck. Anyway, chicken stars meme. Spread it far and wide, I guess, if it means that I get some royalties from that. Speaking of being older than I've ever been, I had to record a film audition a few days ago, and it was fun, and I thought I did a pretty good job, but I'm just going through this phase right now where when I see myself, I say, who's that woman? Because the aging has been happening rapidly. For me, it feels, I saw a video, that TikTok on this day, thanks a lot, a video of myself from 3 years ago, exactly. And to me, I look like a completely different person in that video. I look so much younger. And now I just look at myself and I say, who's that? That's somebody's aunt. Which is fascinating because I am really starting to see my Aunt Diane in myself, in my face, who was 40 years old when I was born. And so therefore, I have only ever known my Aunt Diane as 40 and above. And it's just weird. And this was a big topic of conversation in therapy today for me because I have only ever seen myself as a girl, for better or worse. And kind of like how I talked about in the last episode, people criticize the sort of self-infantilization of Taylor Swift, and I understand. I also identify. It's hard when your identity came up as a certain thing. For me, it was just being a girl. And look, I've always kind of had a little baby face. You know, there are those people that I remember reading in Carole King's documentary. She was like, I was always an old lady. I always just wanted to play canasta and stay home. And so I'm sure for someone like her, aging doesn't feel so foreign. And also, you never think it's going to happen to you until it does. And I know that they always tell you that, but you really just don't believe it until it starts happening to you. And something that's a little screwed up, that thankfully I know that it's screwed up, that I said to my therapist, I said, the only thing I could think of as I'm watching my face change, I'm watching things change. And I almost said to myself, what did I do wrong? Which is really sad, that I'm watching a natural progression of biology that happens to everybody. And I said, what did I do wrong? I went to the doctor on Monday and I got blood work done. I got my physical. There's nothing wrong with me. Literally, this is the very screwed up part of my brain. As I'm watching myself age, I go, well, this can't be happening. I must be very sick. I'm not. I'm in perfect health, at least by my blood work standards. So it's not that. I've got nothing to blame but time and gravity. And even as I say this, I'm aware that there are people older than me watching saying, oh, sweetie, you don't even know yet. I am not really near menopause. This is only the beginning, and I'm highly aware of that. I'm also highly aware that I'm using a ring light today, which sort of flattens out my features in a way that makes me look more youthful. And did I do that on purpose? Probably. I thought this was going to be a cozy little episode, and instead I'm talking about real stuff. You know what else I learned in the half an hour I spent this morning looking up the chicken stars meme? I learned what TS stands for, and it means this and tough. TUFF is something the kids are saying, and you know what it means? It means tough. It just means tough, which I can't really tell if they mean it like hanging tough, like NKOTB, or if they mean like rough, like that's rough. It might be both depending on the context. Can someone let me know? Speaking of aging, so I got my hair cut earlier this summer, and I went to a new person because I've moved. And I just kind of decided to let her do whatever. She proceeded to thin it out so much that I swear to God, I just heard, there she goes again. My hair was doing the Goosebumps walk away.
It's Nick.
I'm just going to say never again. I often go to a stylist and I will explicitly tell them, I know you're going to want to, but please don't thin out my hair. I don't know if it looks better thinned out, but I don't think it does. Like when I was editing my last video, I just kept saying, look how stringy my hair looks. I like having American Girl doll hair. I like my hair to be thick and heavy. I remember this stylist was like, yeah, your hair is so heavy. Let's thin that out. And I went, you know what? I'm just going to let her do it. Just maybe I'll like it. Maybe I'll like the change. I don't like the change. Tried something new and I didn't like it. And it wasn't even that new. Here's the thing. Another thing about aging. Sometimes I wonder that if I had grown up dyeing my hair, getting tattoos, playing around more with my style, maybe I would accept aging a little more because it's just another change to my body. However, the fact that I have been relatively the same since junior high, isn't that screwed up? Makes it extremely jarring to have any change to myself. It's kind of starting to grow back in. I have it up in the ponytail today because I didn't feel like dealing with it.
I'm wearing my hair in a ponytail. Thank you very much.
I miss my mermaid Samantha, the American Girl doll hair. Also, I have been looking at myself like this whole time today. Feeling insecure. Wondering what's it for. Is it time to get the Burt's Bees out? There she goes again, there she goes again, there she goes again, looking to put 'em by up. And I just can't contain this feeling of me. La 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 la. All right. God. I've been slowly buying CDs again, and I really enjoy it. I don't want to say too loudly that I bought Life of a Showgirl on CD and vinyl. I pre-ordered the vinyl, okay, and I'm glad I have that, but I really did want to hear Ruin the Friendship, My Advice version, so I bought one of those CD variants. I'm sorry. I've only spent in my entire life maybe like $150 on Taylor Swift. Another CD I bought recently was Audrey Hobert, Who's the Clown? Maybe my second favorite record of the year. I'm obsessed with her. I remember the second she came on my YouTube algorithm and I said, who is that clown? It was the video for Bowling Alley. And I said, that's me.
But I'll be honest, yeah, the bowling alley kinda sounds nice.
I am her. I see myself in this girl. And then I saw her video for Sue Me and I was like, well, this is my gal. So I bought her CD, which arrived a few days ago in the mail. It came with a zine. I was very taken by the cover, which takes its design from sort of Tiger Beat-esque Bop Double B magazines. And I thought that was really interesting because a poster that I had made for my album release show a couple years ago for House of Yes had the same kind of design. Shout out to Steve Ponzo, who worked on that with me. Great minds, I guess. So, Audrey, let's collab, girl. I mean it, though. She'd be on my list of people I want to collaborate with. The other person who I would love to collaborate with is Annie DeRusso. I think my album of the year is Super Pedestrian by Annie DeRusso, which I actually did go and buy the CD of because I had listened to it enough times on streaming that I said, I should throw this person some money. And I want to have the physical CD, so I bought the CD. I'm waiting for it to arrive. It hasn't arrived yet. But I just really miss having something you can hold, opening it up. I think Grace Spellman, which is sort of an acquaintance of mine, you might follow her on various social media platforms. She is like she's a bit of a music genius and has a deep love for it. And I believe she said in her Substack recently that she misses when music could be given as a gift. And that really was disarming for me. I was like, oh, yeah. When I was in high school and junior high, all I asked for Christmas and for my birthdays was CDs. I would get like 12 CDs for Christmas. And now it's just all there, out in the ether for us to listen to at any time. And I miss the tactile. I miss looking at the CD booklet. I miss having something to hold. And I also just miss putting something on and listening to it and not being distracted by something else or having it immediately play into something else. And also I love putting on a CD and knowing that nobody's tracking my listening habits. Nobody knows that I'm listening to it. This is just for me. There's no record of this happening right now. And that is a comfort to me. I'm really losing steam today. I don't feel well. It's probably allergies. I gotta take my Flonase. Another thing I've been enjoying is this book, Here for It by R. Eric Thomas. A friend of mine recommended this to me. If you are not the book friend, get yourself a book friend. My friend who is my book friend, I cherish even if he weren't my book friend and he were just my friend. But he's my book friend. He is a voracious reader. He has great taste. And I had just read Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. And right before that, I read A Court of Thorn and Roses. So I had like romantasy that also had some violence that I'm very sensitive to, even though I know to most of you it might be kind of cartoonish, but it was a little dark to me. And then Intermezzo by Sally Rooney, which is just, her characters are depressing. And so I reached out to my book friend and I said, can you recommend me something that's funny? And he said, yes, you should read my friend R. Eric Thomas's book. And it is a book of essays. It is so funny. I did also weep after one chapter, but not in a bad way. The quote on the front is, laugh out loud funny. R. Eric Thomas is one of my favorite writers, Lin-Manuel Miranda. So if that nudges you in any direction, did you know Lin-Manuel Miranda and I have the same birthday? I share my birthday with some true greats. Lin-Manuel Miranda, FKA Twigs, Sade, Debbie Allen. I'm in some great company. January 16th. Get ready. You've got 3 months to prepare. 3 months from tomorrow. Oh my God. Tomorrow is my 75% birthday. Does anyone out there celebrate their 3/4 birthday? Because I kind of jokingly, on my half birthday, I'll say, happy half birthday to me. But I've never said happy 3/4 birthday to me. I've never said happy 75%. Happy 0.75 to me. Tomorrow, I'm recording this on October 15th. I'm thinking of changing my schedule. Like, could I get this edited tonight and put it out tomorrow? I just late last night, which at this moment is Tuesday night, dropped my episode from my last week's therapy. So I'm waiting a week, basically, after I film this to then put out the episode. And it's starting to feel like that's too long. Like, my opinions on Taylor Swift Life of a Showgirl have now changed, and that's okay. You can get more information and change, but when you put it out in a video on the internet, it suddenly feels like everyone's going to take that as that is your one opinion. So the fact that Taylor dropped the news about the Eras Tour docuseries kind of changes my thoughts on the album, to be honest, because one of my big critiques was like, we're not seeing the showgirl life. We're not seeing the stubble. We're not seeing the like ripping the lashes off. Cut to literally a scene in the docuseries where Taylor is at home at the end of the day, like ripping her lashes off, talking about how she's so tired and then she has to do it all again tomorrow. So it almost feels like maybe this docuseries, you know, it's all part of it. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if this album was like expectation versus reality? Well, maybe the album is the expectation, is the shiny veneer, and then the docuseries is the reality. So as I receive more information, my thoughts are evolving. Just letting you know that that's okay. For me, for you, for everybody. I got to bring back my Bernie Sanders impression. I'm not going to do it right now. You're going to have to go find that yourself. Also, I recommend listening to Give Me a Wildfire, which is an audio play written by Daniel. I just realized this is one of my dearest friends' partners, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Duran? I don't think it's Duran. I don't think it's Dan Duran. I think it's Daniel Duran. I'm sorry. Give Me a Wildfire by Daniel Duran. It's on whatever podcast app you use. It's an audio play that is so interesting, so cool to listen to in headphones, especially at this time of year. Things are a little spooky. Things are a little... I listened to it on a train ride into New York City a few days ago in my headphones, and there was a fog on the river, and it was just such an amazing experience to listen to that. So if you're in for something that's thrilling and captivating, mysterious, a little spooky, please check out Give Me a Wildfire, starring my friend Sigrid Sutter, who her voice work in this is so brilliant. So those are my things of the week. Oh, my one last thing of the week is the Trader Joe's pumpkin vanilla candle. God, I love that thing. I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to take my Flonase. I'm going to finish this cup of coffee. And I'm going to pet this. I was about to say I'm going to pet this cat, which sounds like a euphemism. And it's not. Got me dreaming about a Jeffrey with the Bessie bird. Bye.
Toy soldiers dipping dots, fun size bars. Slipping slides, fart noises, ticking stars.